What's going on, everybody? It's Dr. Perlman, and I'm glad to be making another video today before I head out for some good quality chiropractic care and some errands. It's really unbelievable, right? You see the news yesterday, and I verified it this morning. Ozempic lawsuits, Wegovy, the bigger manufacturers, all these, 18,000 people, whatever it is, suing, into the, numbers of billions of dollars of lawsuits waged because of undisclosed side effects. And one of the big side effects that comes from semaglutide, and this is why I take the stance I do. And by the way, a lot of people will watch my shorts here and there, and every now and again, like somebody new who doesn't really watch my channel might say something like, oh, look at this guy, he hates semaglutide, this is like, the greatest thing, it saved my life. You don't know what you're talking about. If you don't understand the risks of something you're utilizing where the benefits don't outweigh the risk, where we talk about gastroparesis or like paralytic bowel obstruction, so to speak, when it comes to constipation, that's real. Remember, my wife, is a nurse practitioner, family practice, who came up through ICU nursing experience. She's seen the people who have these obstructed, paralyzed bowels that need manual extraction. Do you know what that means? Manual extraction? Do you know why you go to the hospital when you can't pass your number twos? And I smile, but like, it's not funny, right? Like, it's not a funny thing. I would never care if someone got a little nauseous taking a semaglutide or GLP-1, GLP-2, dual agonist, the trizepatides, the, retatrutides, all the different name brands, all these things. And by the way, when it comes to weight loss and weight loss alone, forget body composition, because that's another conversation, but weight loss alone, obviously these drugs are the key. I mean, duh, churning down the food noise, as people will say. I mean, think about it. If we have, almost 50% obesity rate, per our population here in America, whatever it is, and that's, if you have your eyes, you see that, and you accept that being overweight, on a spectrum of leading to obese and then morbid obesity, is a big problem. It leads to so much health problems. Of course, you'd probably be a fan of, these miracle weight loss drugs. But you're not recognizing of what happens when you do take the time to eat healthy and get a exercise routine and try to maintain mass and keep your positive, body composition with a good amount of muscle as we age. All of a sudden, you might not be able to digest your food properly because your metabolism is churned way down when you're trying to actually increase the need or the metabolic demand for food. And it really is a big issue. And then what happens if you do modify your dose? Of course that matters, and dosing is probably 99% of this, with a competent doctor who understands dosing and isn't starting you on a wrong dose or taking you down the wrong path to a diminished return. I talk about that a lot. And the issue again being, like, you might develop habits that require energy and energy expenditure, and therefore you're going to need to eat, or you're going to have a much bigger problem down the line while you're using a bigger dose of these drugs. And so it's like perplexing to me, because not that I'm against semaglutide, whatever you want to call it. I'm not against these weight loss drugs and these peptides. And by the way, peptides on a massive spectrum. We could be talking about peptides that help you gain weight, peptides help you lose weight. But these drugs, forget just like the unproven effects or, all these side effects that come with it. It's more about understanding like your goals. So the people who started it, how well informed were they? What were their goals? Because if their intention was just to lose weight and stay on a certain dose, and then maybe like eat something they shouldn't have, which it only takes one serious offense to have a heart attack. It only takes one serious offense to go into, a diabetic coma. It only takes one serious offense to break out an anaphylactic, type shock if you're on that spectrum, if you know what I mean. That's why eating is such a big deal. And then when you have these unwanted effects, not just side effects, but these unwanted effects, who's at fault? I always talk about shared dual accountability. Provider and patient, there is shared accountability in all areas. But I think we're still kidding ourselves if we think that with all the information we have, that we still have this massive obesity issue. The food is really not edible in a lot of areas in terms of the standard American diet or the American diet and accessibility to food. We'll just kind of leave that at that right now. And then these new miracle drugs are being misused badly to a stupid degree, and people are getting seriously hurt because I heard a stat of like 1% of something. But then, further looking at it, it's like 1 in 100. That's a lot. Like 1 in 100 people may get this gastroparesis. Like, forget all the other side effects. Forget all the other itises. Forget a little constipation. Forget a little nausea. We're talking about you need to go to the hospital because your bowels stopped working. 1 in 100. I'm sorry then. I don't need that peptide. I might want to dabble in some other peptides and some other longer, standing, proven scientific ways to get your, walking and cardiovascular and your eating and your protein and measuring and, your grams, your macros, measuring your food and just sort of like understanding what that looks like, and eventually you don't measure anymore. That's just the way. I used to make these videos saying like you can't outtrain a bad diet. You can't outrun the effects of drugs that stand to massively alter your body composition, your body's metabolism, your thyroid, your hypothalamus, your pituitary. I mean, you can go at the stomach, the GI, the small intestine, the size of the stomach, magnesium depletion, muscle wasting. Guys, you can't fool it. You have to be managed well, and you have to understand the ramifications of these types of drugs the same way you have to understand the ramification, even if you're not on them, what is going inside your body and the whole aspect and the dangers of obesity. This isn't to say these drugs are bad, as I'm about to close this out. It's understand what you are doing. We have to be better informed consumers, and the people giving out these drugs, the doctors with the authority, the prescriptive authority people, you have to hold yourself to the highest standard. That is the fact of these types of interventions, because there's no such thing as a miracle. You can get close and you can get blown away with some statistics and some outcomes and start to ride high. Oh, that's a miracle. But we have to be better informed consumers. We have to be better informed providers. That's it. Have a wonderful day.